This is Lee Strieber, and you're listening to My Alien Life.
That's better. How's everybody doing? Yeah. Just give me a minute to get my bearings straight. We are obviously live. It's been a while. It's kind of hard to figure this stuff out. It's doesn't stay fresh in the memory, and things change. You have to do software updates, etc. But I'm here. So if you see that link and you click on it, you know you're at YouTube. Not sure how you can watch it from anywhere else, possibly on Facebook, but please share this and just be patient as I kind of bop around a little bit, um, try to share this with friends so they can get on too. So just give me a minute because this is live. And as you know, it's just me. It's just me. Thanks, Whitley. I'm still using that Whitley. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of it. Apollo 11. Hello. How's it going? It's good to see you. So, first of all, what I'd like to do is say hello to some friends. I don't see this on Facebook, though. Let me find this really quick. The link is supposed to be here, and it is not. Let me see if I can change that. There we go. There it is. Good evening. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. Yeah. It's good to be back on the thing. There we go. There we go. Let me share it to a couple of groups here. Like My Alien Life in particular. And others. If you're listening, please let me know. Let me hit up a couple more groups. Bear with me one moment. Thanks for being patient. It's not like I have something extremely urgent or anything to say. I don't. It's just one of those times where we need to get together. It's been a while. And I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. It was a good day off. Yeah, I know. All right. There we got a couple of groups going. This is Cam Logan. It's been a while. Nice to see everybody at least on Facebook tonight. Saw some conversation and I spawned a little conversation, for lack of a better term. Haven't seen some people in a while. Just want to give a couple shout outs to some people out there. Mark Sheriff, how are you, buddy? Cassidy Lightwing, my on and off again, sometimes amazing producer who has set me up a few times. Russell Brinniger and Russell, check out Russell Brinniger because go to the Amazon and check out his book. It's probably one of the most amazing books that you'll ever read about ufology or about anything really. It's amazing. It's incredible the insight this guy has, and he'll take you places you've never been before. So, Dennis up in Edmonton, how you doing, Dennis? Dan Willis, my friend. Um, Dan, of course, is very very well known, and he's part of the inner circle of. I don't know if Dan likes to be called a ufologist or not, but he is a ufologist. I mean, he's probably an expert in he is an expert in studying the media and their reaction and how we as a UFO community or other um, interact with the media. So it's very interesting what Dan has to say. I respect Dan, and he's got a great voice. He was in TV for a long time and sort of switch gears and amazing dude. And of course, my good friend Rick Doty, who I haven't talked to in a while, but Rick, I hope you and your family are having a great holiday and Merry Christmas to you and your family. Happy Thanksgiving, and you and your lovely wife. Rick's not a bad looking guy either. Yeah, Rick Doty is a pretty incredible dude, and what a story. My friend George Orwell Bunyay. Um, check out GOB. Yeah. Zena Haggerty, my good friend, who has been on the show a few times, and she's in Ontario and has her own podcast. It's pretty cool. Deb White, she's been on the show, and Deb's very, very interesting. Like to say hello to Deb. Luis Alberto Benham, he's a good friend. He's in Argentina. Hola, my friend. Um, hope you're doing well. Richard Shue, who he's going to actually let me be on his podcast, and I think that's coming up on the second Monday of December. So that should be interesting. Good topic. I won't spoil it for you, but it's really cool. And John Shepard, who's absolutely amazing. John Shepard talks to aliens, and I think he's still on Netflix. His movie, and that's one of the coolest movies I've seen. An amazing, brilliant guy who's put together something incredible, and I've never seen anything like it. And he's just he's the coolest. And check out John Shepard. Follow him on Facebook, and you can check out his movie. I'm sure he has a link. Hunter Brown, my buddy in Georgia, Thomasville, Georgia. David Ross, way up north in the eastern part of Canada. How are you, my friend? Tiffany Mack, who has her own show. Her and I are going to get together one of these days and do a show. It's just there's not enough hours in the day, and she's super busy, and I'm doing nothing, so I'm just waiting so we can get together. She has a really cool show. And Shep Baker from Texas, man, how are you, Shep? I hope you're listening because this is why I do this, because guys like you've been around since the beginning. Chris Barnes in the UK. Chris is probably sleeping right now. Let's see. It's 7:10 p.m. where I am, so it's about 2:10 a.m. his time, I guess. And he'll get up in a couple hours and begin the whole cow milking process, which goes on forever. And it's an incredible career he has, and a real interesting guy. I love the guy. So, Chris Barnes, thank you. Excuse me one moment. And I think, excuse me, my last show was with Dr. Irina Scott. Yeah, it's a bit strong. And she's great. And she just stumbled across some new information about an old story that Happened in 1973. So check her out. And she's a prolific author and scientist. So very interesting person. Joe Fox, amazing guy who puts together a lot of stuff on Facebook, and he's a brilliant mechanic. I've learned a lot. And if you look back here, right there, that's, I know it's not Judas Priest, but I don't have any Judas Priest albums. That's from my friend William Poulin, and he's in New Mexico tonight. So William, I hope you're doing well. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your posse in La Tuna. Yeah. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff, but have a lot of friends out there. And Bradley Powers in the UK, one of my good friends who does a lot of podcasting, a lot of shows. Cool guy. He shares a insight in just about everything, and check him out sometime. He'll blow your mind. Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell. Hello. That's all I got to say about you. Tim Earl. Timothy is an amazing dude. I did a couple podcasts with him, and check that out. That is Timothy Earl scared the living hell out of me. We were doing our first podcast together. It started out 7 p.m. light out and got dark. Of course, I didn't have any lights on. By the time we got deep into this podcast, I had goosebumps, and totally. I mean, it was crazy. John Goulet, you'll know him from the Travis Walton story. Hope you're listening, John. John Goulet is probably behind the wheel of his 18-wheeler right now. He works a lot. He loves what he do. He loves what he does. Eva Bland, she's my favorite bodybuilder out there. Incredible person and incredible personality. Hope you're doing well tonight. Becky Sheehy, how are you? Tom Sanger, he's been on the show, pretty cool guy, and hope to talk to him again someday. My good friend James Phil Cox, who's down in Missoula, Montana, I'm assuming, and you and I got to get together soon, my friend, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. We used to go to summer camp together, and there's really no incredible story there. It's just, yeah, it was summer camp, and great guy, and great dad, and can't wait to see that guy again soon. Kathleen Martin, one of my friends who shares her incredible stories from time to time online, and nice to hear her wherever she is on whatever podcast. So she's in high demand. Mr. Jack Bessler, who's in Northern California. Jack had some health issues, and he's throwing it all back together. Super smart guy. Re-educating himself, or not re-educating, more education, always keeping up on his certifications, and pretty impressive that a guy who's been through so much can really hammer it out, and he's able to learn so much new information about tax codes and things like that after being through a pretty traumatic surgery in the past. And I think it was back this early spring. Diane Tessman, how are you? Nice to see you from time to time, and nice to always hear about what you're doing. Preston Dennett, one of the most prolific authors that I've ever met or known. The guy is absolutely amazing, and he is on Amazon. You can check him out. He's got a website, but he's a writer, and a great writer, and can't wait to see what he has next. Nicole Sakish, she's been my friend for a while now, and it's nice to see her online. Be nice to catch up with her. When our paths cross someday. Alejandro Rojas, how are you, sir? Good evening. Damian Gray in Las Vegas, and I haven't talked to Damian in a while, so him and I need to compare notes sometimes. One of my favorites, Donald Raymond Schmidt, who, again, for research and writing, Donald Schmidt is probably one of the best. And of course, he is a prolific writer of Roswell, and he's always coming up with something new, and he never ceases to amaze me. Chris Wookie, good evening, sir. Steve Myers, another author who is never met somebody who shared such a huge passion with all those people out there who have studied the Great Pyramids, and Steve has his own spin on it. I know that the Great Pyramids were created with aliens with lasers, but Steve will disagree with me from time to time, most of the time, all of the time. Ken Hopkins, good evening, sir. And Robert Mulder, if that's your real name. Allison Yeloney is in Alberta, north of Edmonton. She has an incredible story. We did some podcasting, and that's one of those real stories that really blow your mind, that she shared with relatives, and that's way up there in the Great White North, and it's a bit scary. And check out Allison on My Alien Life podcast, and check out my website. It's www.myalienlifepodcast.com. There you'll find all the podcasts as well as other stuff. And I'm always trying to add to it too. I haven't in a while, but we'll get to that. Tom Carrey, another prolific writer, speaker of Roswell. Him and his partner Donald Schmidt have been together for a very long time, and put together a library of information, and it's incredible, really incredible. Andrew Hockheimer, how are you, sir? It's been a while. Message me. I'd like to hear from you. Bill Kuselis, him and his wife, two incredible people. He's one of the more outstanding voices, and talks about Mothman, who he taught me a lot. I didn't know much about that, and it's fairly interesting. And we did a podcast some time ago, and I'd like you to check out Bill and the work that him and I did. Shane Hurd, hi Shane, nice to see you. Pam Maccabee, hello. Kathleen Winkler Durs, she's been one of my followers and listens to me, and I hope you listen to me all the time, Kathleen, and thanks for spreading the good word. Steve Bassett, Steve is very, very busy with his outreach to people, and putting together a vast amount of information about UFOs and other related activities. So check out Steve Bassett. Shannon Turner, I think Shannon Turner and I are kind of neighbors. And of all the people that I know that listen to me, I think Shannon is the closest. I'm not sure exactly where Shannon is, but yeah. Hi, Shannon. Tom Reed, how are you, sir? So Tom Reed, amazing guy, and he's doing a lot of work that you need to check out. So go to his Facebook page. I want you to message him, and it's Tom, Thom, Tom Reed. And Tom and I did a podcast, and that's all I'm going to tell you about that, because I want you to go reach out to Tom and check him out. Bo Carrington, how are you, sir? Good to see your picture on Facebook tonight. Take care of yourself, and happy holidays. George Knapp, of course, everybody knows George. Very, very busy dude, and spreading the word about stuff that we're interested in, and mainstream news. George is kind of the only guy in the world that I know who can kind of cross streams with the kind of news that we listen to and we appreciate, and the kind of news that the mainstream news listeners listen to, whatever. George Knapp can get away with almost anything. So that'd kind of be a cool position to be in, if you could report on just about any story. And of course, George, being from Nevada, Las Vegas, there's people there that want to hear about Area 51 and everything else that goes on in Nevada. That's unusual. So George is able to put that together. And I've mentioned this before, but our good friend Kevin Common passed away not long ago. Kevin was on the show. He listened to it all the time, and he was always in contact with me. And of course, when all of a sudden he wasn't, I knew there was a great disturbance in the force, and he's one of the guys I really miss. So he's one of these superstars who was so amazing and so appreciative and able to contact me that, at will for a number of reasons that I just missed that. And Kevin, thank you very much. See you soon, my good friend. Let me say hi to Michelle Freed. How are you, Michelle? Um, I would like you to contact me and maybe we could do a project together sometime in the future. Long Strickler, how are you, my friend? Ronnie Whitener out there in whatever land Ronnie's in. Nice to see you. From Spain, my friend Juan Manuel Marco Moya, a prolific YouTuber. He does a show every couple of days. It's all in Spanish. I almost said that, I can understand a good portion of it. Most of it I cannot understand. He messages me all the time. And, I wish I had time to translate and go back and forth because super interesting guy. He wears a suit and tie, um, does this from his living room. And for a long time, and I'm not sure, I haven't seen him in a few weeks, but for a long time, he had a Christmas tree in the background. And I mean, like year round Christmas tree. So um, I asked him about that, and he really didn't understand what I was talking about. I don't think he really knows that there's a Christmas tree in in the background, but it's been there a long time. I want to say hi to Simon Hope. How are you, Simon? Brooke Doty, she's a registered nurse, and we got to give a shout out to our healthcare workers, and um, they're out there every day, and it's rough. And in some places, it's rougher than others. Um, Specifically, those places like Montana, where the governor basically just shit on the whole process and doesn't care that these people are out there laying their lives on the line every day. And so, yeah, this is one of those places, and unfortunately, we have these nurses that are just killing themselves every day, and but are doing it with grace and in a way that doesn't take away from the professionalism, but allows them to be the best they can be, despite these incredible odds that they have to mount every day. So, thank you to our healthcare workers and nurses, doctors, and yeah, thank you very much. Vermin Supreme, how are you, sir? Always a candidate for the United States presidency, and if you don't know Vermin, just check him out online. Dave Emmons, how are you, my friend? He's been on the show, and Dave, we need to do another program again because you're a very interesting man, and I'd like to hear from you. Chad M, another neighbor, but Chad's from Butte, Montana. We've talked a bit. He's I think I hate to say, I am pretty sure it's NBC News, and sorry, um, Chad's a news guy, and he interviewed me, and I was on, and we were talking about UFOs in Montana. Excuse me. Interesting enough that some people wanted to hear about what happened in Great Falls, Montana, and Malmstrom Air Force Base. I did a show with Robert Salas on that. That's a good one. So that comes up from time to time. Excuse me, I don't mean to chew in your ear. Thanks for your patience, because obviously you're not supposed to eat on the air, but this is actually a drink and it's just too tempting. Okay. Kimberly O'Connor. How are you? Kimberly is a friend of mine who I was lucky enough to do. I think it's our first podcast, and she kind of took off and has been on several since then. So yeah, check out Kimberly O'Connor. My good friend David Powell, who is a remote viewer, on my website, you can check out some information about him and the experiment we did, which is astounding because obviously David passed the test, so to speak, because he was able to identify literally what I was thinking, and from a long ways away. And he's probably not one of the more accomplished people who do this, but he's been working at it hard, and I was blown away. And so check out David. He's on, he's actually on my website. If I'll tell you more specifically, sorry, I'm not that quick with that information. So yeah, if you go to My Alien Podcast and there's another link on there, and it's called it says My Alien Life. So go to myalienlifepodcast.com, click on My Alien Life, and you can hear about David Powell. So basically this was January 12th, so it's been almost a year. So what I did was took a sheet of paper, and I did this on the computer. I wrote on it David Powell's target, and then a 4-digit number, 1451. I provided him with the number 1451. So what the target was the Taal volcano, which erupted in Batangas, Philippines, January 12th, 2020. And I was there the previous May. And so David, went in and he thought about that, and he came up with some interesting observations, including drawings. So again, that's on my website. Check that out. The other thing that's on my website, I had mentioned Tom Reed. That's THOM Reed, and he was on my podcast, as well as Melanie Kirchendorfer and Jennifer Huberdo, and basically it was called the Night in the Berkshires, and the place was the Berkshires in Massachusetts. This was in 1969, and a small community in the Berkshire County, Massachusetts, there was an invasion, and September 1st, it seemed a small community was under siege by aliens, and basically we go into that, and you listen to 3 members of this town, and it's been deemed the first and only UFO incident to be inducted into the U.S. state. That is historically true. So check that out. Melanie Kirchendorfer is amazing, or Kirchdorfer is amazing. Tom Reed is tirelessly doing a bunch of work on that, and it's ongoing, and I think it's going to keep him busy for a very, very long time. So it's very cool that Tom is willing to spend so much time. My friend Michael Paul Masters, he's a professor at Montana Tech in Butte, Montana, and he's part of the anthropology department there, and he wrote a very interesting book that explores the thought that we might be the aliens, but aliens are from the future and they're visiting us. So super interesting. Check out Michael Masters' book, Dr. Michael Masters, and it's available on Amazon, and he also has a website. Sherilyn Carter, hello. She's been on the show. Nice to see you out tonight. Benjamin Balderson, also been on the show. Kevin Knuth, physicist. We talked about some good stuff. It's nice to have Kevin Knuth. Perry Peters, how are you, sir? Nice to see you. I hope you're having a great holiday, and we'll talk one of these days. Jason Wolf, hello. Brent Hand, who has his own podcast. How are you, sir? It's always nice to see your beautiful face out there. Rachel Mayo, who's extremely busy with her horses. I hope you're doing well. Erica Lukes, who, of course, Erica is a researcher and writer, and she is basically out there and one of the movers and shakers in ufology. So check out Erica Lukes. If you don't know Erica, get to know her. So extremely interesting person. Melissa Merlot, one of my followers. Thank you very much. Appreciate it so much. Ralph Torlucci, also in Las Vegas, does a show of where you'll cover almost everything. And yeah, Ralph, nice to see you. Thank you very much for what you do. Pretty amazing. Who else? Who else? Who else? There's a lot of people whose name I recognize, but I haven't, like Josh Chairs, I haven't talked to him in a while, but we used to I think he had something to do with the Art Bell show. Might have been an assistant producer or something on the Art Bell show. With not with Dr. J, but Dr. J was also another producer who I've done a show with Dr. J, and he's a cool guy. And Dr. J has a pretty cool show. Well connected with a lot of very, very, very interesting guests. I better check YouTube because Apollo 11 says he's sailing the seas of cheese. I don't know what that means, man. But that's super cool. Super cool. Mary Coelho. She's kind of an anthropologist, and she's got a great, great Facebook page, and she is super cool and does a lot of super interesting things. I won't get started on anthropology because that's my thing. Did it for a long time, but not anymore. Craig Mincy, how you doing? Craig, I don't. You have so many Facebook pages. I don't know which is the real Craig Mintz Facebook page. Although sometimes he contacts me on Instagram, and that's nice. So it's nice to hear from Mincy from time to time. Again, if you're able to, and you see this link, I would love it if you could share it and share it to anyone who wants to watch. I mean, we're live right now, but obviously we anybody can listen to this at any time. So I appreciate those who are listening at the moment and can figure this out. So we'll do it again. I think this works really well. And, I'm kind of figuring it out. And I think I do a good job on podcasting, but this whole video thing is fairly new to me. I'm just not a video guy. I'm not really interested in it, but people seem to appreciate the extra effort. So that's nice. Let me just look at my friends here really quick again and see who we can recognize. Not sure how long we've been into this so far. still don't know. I still can't tell. Oh, 35 minutes. Wow. So here's a question. Let me just check this really quick to see if I have anybody. I didn't want to forget anybody. Um, I mentioned William, Anne Reeve Roberts. Hello. Russell Brinegar. Oh, Alyssa Huffmeyer. How are you? Gavin Castor. Hello, sir. Jackie Klebe. Yeah. Hi, Jackie. Vincent Pontius. Hello. Ted Dawson. Um, there's a guy from Thailand, and everything he posts is in Thai. I don't really know that language. So, hello, sir. Stephen Pollard, John Joseph Burhop, Troy Thompson, Bobby Richardson, Keith Legg. How are you? Claude Lemoine. Excuse me. And Kenneth Spreeman. Hello, sir. David Ross. David Ross. Bill Vodal. Kenneth Hopkins. Um, most of the time, I see people doing podcasts and they kind of just read whatever and things are at random, kind of like this is right now, but usually they've smoked a lot of dope. I don't do that. I do have a martini from time to time, not very often. But when I do have one, it's got to have something pickled in it, usually olives, but anything is good. Sean Potvin, how are you? Awesome. All right. So earlier on the thing, posted this question: name a fictional movie about UFOs or other unknown phenomenon that many people believe is a real story or even a documentary. Hey, Mark Chilton, how are you, my friend? Russell Brinegar said The Day the Earth Stood Still. I think that had many different versions of that. I know it did. And so it's interesting because, that's one of the things. Well, yeah, in 2008, Keanu Reeves. Um, but originally 1951. And, you know, so, I know there's a lot of Matrix fans out there. We'll talk about the Matrix, but Keanu Reeves in The Day the Earth Stood Still, I just remember him sitting there and there's all this dialogue and I wasn't really into it. And, I know there's a lot of people who believe that probably happened in many different ways, many different formats. But you know, Earth being visited by aliens, and obviously, in 1951, which this was one of the first budgeted films. They spent almost $1 million on it, and it almost doubled the money, $1.8 million in um, box office money, which was basically theatrical rentals, and it's probably made more since then. But who knows who got that money? But you can look it up online, and there's a huge cast of people, and so I remember that, and it's been a while since I watched it, but yeah, that was a good one. Melissa Merlot says The Fourth Kind, and that one, trying to remember what year it was, 2009. Um, so yeah, I don't really remember any actors that I knew in that movie. Um, so it's an expansion of J. Allen Hynek's Close Encounters with Aliens and um, dealing with alien abduction. And it's kind of a pseudo documentary, um, or dramatic reenactment of events in Nome, Alaska. And the psychologist uses hypnosis, um, and they try to bring up these memories from people who were abducted by aliens. And um, then I think the psychologist even figures out that the psychologist was part of an abduction. Um, yeah, that was interesting. That was the twist. Um, Ken Hopkins says Stargate. It's been a while since I watched Stargate. I know it's available on. I see it all the time on Netflix. Um, I do, I'm on Netflix, and my movies are, I love post-apocalyptic movies and dystopian movies. That's one of my favorite. And um, so, I'm looking up sci-fi movies, and unfortunately, I hit a lot of dead ends. I end up starting a lot of movies that I never finish. Stargate, that's a long time ago, 1994, and Kurt Russell, James Spader. James Spader is crazy, man. I enjoy him a lot. He was in The Office, and that character is super memorable. So there's this ancient device. It's a Stargate. And it creates a wormhole, um, enabling travel to something similar somewhere else in the universe. Um, so it's kind of explores the theory of extraterrestrial beings and having sort of an influence on people, humanity. So it's interesting, and starts out in Egypt, I think. So it's been a while since I watched that. Bill Vodal from my hometown, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or Star Trek First Contact. Those are both good movies. Close Encounters was amazing. Close Encounters to me was a super, super. To me, it felt like a realistic approach, and what I hope it would look like if that actually happened, which I doubt. No, I just hope we don't get eaten. David Ross talking about the fourth kind. David's in Eastern Canada. Hi, David. Um, Fourth kind. Sorry, I'm kind of. So the fourth kind again. I talked about that, but what I was trying to think about. Um, I don't remember if that was a huge movie at the time. Um, it's kind of been revived since it first came out, and I think it has, a very, very loyal following, and it's a good movie. Some guy named Cameron Logan said The Matrix. The Matrix to me, it's another Keanu Reeves movie, and he's okay. The thing about The Matrix is I see so many references in people that are so serious about not the possibility that the Matrix is actually a real thing, but the fact or the belief that yeah, they do believe it's a real thing, and we're it. And it's always my opinion is if this is a matrix, then why? What's the purpose? And I really don't understand how that could even be a thing because um well, it's too hard to perpetuate, and it would be hard for it to see its own fruition. I mean, it would be self-destructing, and yeah. So that's all I have to say about it. I'm not really a subscriber that we're part of a matrix just because. Yeah. Um, Another one was Star Trek, the motion picture, and the whole V'ger thing, and the notion that there's this huge cloud of sort of extraterrestrial intelligence out there that um, is such a huge part of our universe. There's people who absolutely believe in that as well, and so I guess one of the things that they think, people who believe in that would think, is the fact that um, where did the idea come from? Same way with the Matrix. Where did the idea come from? You know what? I think humans are very, very creative without experience. I mean, we can come up with things that never existed, and we could probably come up with things that never will exist. But I suppose in the vast expanse of the universe, which there's so many different planets and so many different opportunities to have experiences and people and places and things, that almost anything you could think of could be possible. So that's how vast the universe is. Interstellar, the movie. I, if you like Matthew McConaughey, then there you go. Anne Hathaway, she's cool. Michael Caine, he's cool. Um, so that takes place in 2067, and it's a good movie. And I don't really have much to say about it. I'd watch it again. So that's not bad. It's cool. Deep Impact. I can't remember why I brought that one up. Obviously, one of those movies that people believe could and may have happened or is happening. Um, so Deep Impact is, how do you explain that? I mean, this is one you'd have to watch 3 or 4 times before you could kind of tell the story. Um, and I don't, Robert Duvall is in that, Elijah Wood. So that's cool. Vanessa Redgrave, Morgan Freeman. So great cast. Um, Check that one out. Tell me what you think of Deep Impact. Brent Hand, who else? Brent Hand and William Poulin, and who else? Who else? Amy Bew. They answered my little survey, Fire in the Sky. Um, Brent says, and of course, Fire in the Sky is about um, Travis Walton. So the Travis Walton experience. Travis Walton, they're in Arizona. Of course, Travis is with his crew and my friend John Goulet. John's funny, and I love to hear John's story. Travis's story. I mean, it's frightening. Um, so Brent says, even if you believe Travis, that is not the experience he said he had. So of course not. It's just a Hollywood a rendition of the story, and the story, I'm sure, was more frightening and bigger, if you believe the story. Um, I'm not saying whether I believe it or not, because as always, I'm kind of stuck somewhere in between a couple of places when I hear stories like that. Um, Travis Walton's got a lot of mileage out of that story, though, and he's year round. He could be appearing anywhere near you, and I think it's pretty amazing that he has that story to tell. And oh wow, I got a lot of people that joined me. I'm sorry I missed you guys on YouTube. The Lion. Um, he says, "Hey Cam, good to see you back." People like to see the face. Otherwise, I do my show using Vocaloid technology. I was going to say something about his face. That would be mean. He's a good looking guy. All right. The Lion. Geez, Lion. Close Encounters was a conglomeration of stories. Um, the Lion says the trick is teaching humans the metaphor behind the Vedras. So Cassidy really gets into it deep. And a lot of times I don't know what he's saying because Cassidy probably knows more about aliens than anybody I know. Apollo 11, this person says the Council of Nine, Gene Roddenberry is an interesting story. Cassidy Lightwing says humans are unique in the galaxy in their ability to extrapolate ideas that are too large for the brain to understand. Yeah, that's true. Cassidy, if you can hear me, just reply on YouTube. Hello, sir. I said something nice about you earlier. I hope you heard it. Not annoying. Hey, bro, LOL. He may be gone. He's busy. I'll check back with you in a minute, Cass. Alien Contactee 2020 full documentary abduction story testimonial. Dr. Starr's son. Yeah, I don't know much about that. I want to check that out. But I know Dr. Starr's son, and yeah, wow. He's pretty out there. Okay, Cass. Cass, you could call in here. You got my phone number, right? I could call you. Why don't you call me? You have my phone number? Real name, what? I don't know what he said. We'll give him a minute. Maybe he'll call in. He's gonna check. That'd be cool. Live call in. Gotta watch my phone. All right. Bill Kuselis. He's my Mothman. So the Mothman prophecies. So yeah. Check out Bill. He knows a lot about Mothman. Steve Pollard says Close Encounters, John Joseph Burhop, Stargate. Jackie Klebe also Mothman prophecies. That's cool. Well, thanks, Apollo. It says my podcast mic sounds good. Do you use a cloud for with it? No. Hold on, I gotta respond to somebody on my phone. Well, Cass, are you gonna call or no? Please call. Apollo 11. This is a Rode mic, and you don't have to do anything with it. You just talk. Yeah. Cassidy Lightwing's probably gargling. Vincent Pontius says Arrival Denis Villeneuve. I don't know what that is. And the day the earth stood still. Maya Lindqvist. Most of the film are based on something real. See, that's what I'm getting at because I don't, I guess you could go that direction. I don't really know. What? Cass. I'm here, Cass. You just call. And have something to talk about, something pertinent. Talk about some movie. I want you to sound prepared. you're really, really good on you're good at this. So, um, Perry Perry Peters, Vast Was the Night. Perry Peters, Dark Skies. Micah Stoddard, X Files, Fight the Future. Chris Babcock, Galaxy Quest. Gavin Castner, Hide It in Plain Sight. Present the future in fictional form, and the public will believe it as fiction. Jim Mount, Fourth Kind. Amy Bufar in the Sky. So that's super popular. Tim Snyder, author. Eddie Dying, When They Think You've Got Nothing Invested. I don't know who Tim Snyder is. All right. Yeah, Apollo 11 says directed. The director's cut Blade Runner and The Arrival. Blade Runner is awesome. I love Blade Runner. It's really good. Super good. All right. Cass is trying to find his phone. It's probably next to your remote. And you know where that is. Cass, call my number. Do you need me to call you? I'm going to call you right now. Get ready to talk about a movie. Okay, I'm dialing your number.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Goodbye.
All right. he's calling me, I guess. What is up with that? People need to set up your voicemail. I mean, I'm not going to leave you a voicemail, but it'd be good if you set it up. Oh, I see. He's restarting his Android. I thought that was a movie. Android is starting. Does this look backwards to you? It looks backwards to me. I hope it's the right way. Apollo 11. Earlier you mentioned Denis Villeneuve, and I was commenting that he also directed Blade Runner. Oh, okay, I got you. He's a director. And the Arrival in the new Dune movie. Boy, I tried to watch Dune like 2 months ago again. It was hard. It was hard to watch. There's no surprises in it for me, so I'm like, excuse me. So it's tough to watch. Cash, you need to keep your phone ready, man. My friend Juan Manuels is messaging me, and it would be really cool if I could get him on. He doesn't speak English, but should that even matter? I don't think so. Let's see. Bear with me, please. Cass, we're still waiting on you. So, any other movie suggestions? I would like movie suggestions just so I could watch something really cool. And it's sort of one of the things dystopian or a post-apocalyptic. I love that. Say live in Spanish. You're to listen. Jeez, Cass, hold on, please. Are you telling me you don't have my phone number? Here's a guy who like does a daily. He doesn't just do a daily podcast. He might do more than one. And here he is. Hello? Whoops, I lost him. Hello? Hello, hello? Cass? Cass? I don't know what we did wrong there. I lost him. Try it again. Here we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Oh, Jesus. What is it with the phones? I'm actually borrowing Shannon's
How
phone.
many? Yeah. Yeah. You really held us up here. Somebody just said
Yeah, I'm
District 9. Did you see District 9?
I did. Loved it.
Yeah.
Made me worried, though.
Fucking prawns.
Fucking lions. Yeah, I can see it going both ways. But no, actually, that brings up a lot of really interesting issues about, the possibility, like when my people arrive, I mean, how are humans going to accept us? It's one of the reasons why I started doing the show. It's better to tell you guys, hey, we're here, than get caught with our paws in the cookie jar. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. I would like you just to let us know you're here so we could fight back like immediately. What would we need to fight back?
Actually, there are several molecular technology things you can use. You ever heard of a Faraday cage?
Yes.
Faraday cage is another thing that block EM fields are really good with consciousness-based entities. I have a really hard time, even in this body, walking into a Faraday cage gives me a major migraine.
How about just a tinfoil hat?
A tinfoil hat won't do you any good.
I mean, it would be like the starter kit.
Yeah, there you go.
For
there
a Faraday cage.
However,
go ahead.
For those of you who are into the tinfoil hat thing, get a tinfoil cup and a tinfoil heart plate, and then maybe it'll help.
What do you mean? What do you mean a cup? You mean like a cup or a cup?
Like a sports cup. I can't remember what it's called. The thing that holds your jimmies and keeps them safe.
I would need maybe a gum wrapper for me.
But yeah, there's actually lots of things that are just not even psychic. It's not even like a psychic light magic thing, which is one of the biggest issues I've been encountering. Everybody thinks I'm trying to push magic, and it's like, no, I'm here to share our technology so you guys know we are here and we are fighting back.
So we just jumped into this, and you always have a lot to say, and I appreciate that. But how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic,
really?
Man. Yeah, the Make-A-Wish sent us to Disney World with Shar.
Who's us? Tell everybody who us is.
I'm sorry.
Provide us some description so we don't have to think we're still talking about the day the Earth stood still.
Fair enough.
Yes.
That is logical.
Right.
All right. So I'm Cassidy. I'm a 6.5 foot tall, mostly male looking.
He's really tall.
Monster guy. Yes, I am. And I'm a runt. My wife is an awakened human, and I have 2 children. An awakened human.
Yeah.
What that means is that essentially her DNA.
And she has a lot of tolerance, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah. She tolerates my shit. She's a hero.
Yeah.
Living with me is a lot like watching my alien life, only way less funny.
Yeah, because there's nothing funny on my show.
Well, no. Your show is great, bro. It's not bad. It's just no, not that show. I mean, the new show. No, I'm thinking of Resident Alien. Oh, wow, that was embarrassing.
It's all right. You're used to that.
Yeah.
So Cass is an alien.
Depending on the definition, yes. I've been finding that humans do not appreciate that word because they think it means spaceships and laser beams. Whereas the strictest definition of the word means someone different from somewhere else, and
you're not from this planet.
No.
And don't knock laser beams because I want those. That's good. To me, that's got to be part of the paradigm, because if there's no laser beams, I don't want it. I don't want any part of it because if I'm out there, I got to have a laser beam. So I thought we could defeat aliens with a laser beam, and you're telling me probably not.
Well, depending on the kind of laser beam and how it's generated. Chemically generated laser beams don't have enough particulate mass to do any good. However, that being said, solid matter projected laser beams have a particular effect where small, highly charged particles will basically be flung forward at nearly the speed of light. Those are effective. Also, good old-fashioned guns work.
That's good to know.
Yeah. The thing is that essentially when they come here, like everybody's talking about like the Greys, right? And whatnot, right? Bullets work just fine.
I have no. You know? I don't like the Greys. I have nothing good to say about
sir.
them. You're Pleiadian, right?
No, I'm from what the UFO crowd is calling feline Lyran tribe.
But
the thing is, it gets a little confusing.
Okay, I thought there was some Pleiadian connection there.
Well, there is, but it's a cultural one. The Pleiadians are a race of extraterrestrial biologicals that exist within this galaxy. Their technology base is extremely spiritual.
Right.
You see what I mean? So it was very. Oh, you don't? Okay. All right. So imagine.
I believe every word you say. It's just really a hard thing for me to understand. That's all.
Okay. Well, all right. So you know how your technology is based on moving electrons, correct?
Waves of light. I'm a wave of light. Many waves of light.
No, we all are. Yeah. That's been the toughest thing.
So are we really? Are we all really waves of light?
Yes. Consciousness protrudes into this galaxy, galaxy is not really an appropriate word, but into this multiverse, shall we say, from another place. You know, your consciousness right now, sitting there looking at right on the YouTube right now, that's not really you. You know, you're projecting in from somewhere else. You see what I mean?
Oh, I know it's
so.
Not
Yes,
me,
you are a wave. You are a wave of light.
That's interesting. So let me ask you this, because this is a real question, and this is one I've never. It's always in my mind, but I've never asked anybody this question before. So some things have happened to me, and one of those things, I'm concerned about the ability of grays, to be able to just be there. So you wake up in the middle of the night and there they are. How many times have you heard that story? Many, many, many. So there they are.
Many times.
Right. Yeah. There they are. Where did they come from? I mean, did they land outside my house and then walk through the wall or whatever, or somehow materialize? I mean, what's the process there? Where'd they come from and why?
Well, it would depend on exactly which species the Greys in question are representing.
Well, how about two little ones and a tall one about 6'2" or 4"?
Yeah, I believe those would be related to Walton's guys. But if it's in that case, what they utilize is a form of transportation technology that's colloquially called universal bleed. And essentially, they materialize literally into your house through quantum entanglement. Essentially, if they can pinpoint you via consciousness, they can find you. And if your home or your immediate area is not prepared, they can transport right into your room. And it is scary. That's why, one of the focuses of what I've been talking to humans about recently is how to fight back yourself. I'm getting overwhelmed. I can't do this by myself. You know what I mean? So it's time for humans to start fighting back. This is a roar to action.
In what way? What would that look like? How do we fight back? And why should we fight back? I mean, one of the things that I think people really get freaked out about is, they're faced with this, and that fight or flight kicks in. So do they throw something? Do they freak out? Do they scream? I think most of the time the decision's made where they lay still, don't move, it'll go away. Yeah. What say you on that?
Well, what they're doing is affecting your hormones to make you passive. The reason why is because they're terrified of your species.
Exactly. And I totally get that. That's what I got from that experience. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the reason why is because this has been forgotten. That's part of the one of the things that we're trying to remind your people is that this technology that my people use is the same as your original base technology. The Atlanteans used it. I mean, this is natural to you. Your brain waves are very, very, very powerful. So to any species that is sensitive to, I hate to use the word psychic, but we're just going to use the word psychic. So any species that is sensitive to psychic invasion, they have a lot to fear from you.
Right.
A human that is terrified, their mind is like a meat grinder.
Yeah, it's when we're in that part of our mind where, you know, things are just insane and all we want to do is just leave, be gone, and you know, all anything that we have that resembles anything rational is out the door, and we're just trying to leave, get out the door. So to me that's you know, it's one of those things that you feel that you need to be away from that situation, but it's so hard to do. Why are they there? What's the purpose? I mean, if we're just going to have this, I called it a Mexican standoff where we just look at each other. We just look at each other.
Well, in the case of one of the particular races that are often mistaken for Greys, which is I can't remember the stupid name, Betty and Barney Hill. I can't remember the names. Anyway, that particular tribe, they're actually from the future. See, when Betty asked them, "Where are you from?" she should have asked, "What planet are you from?" Instead, they pointed to that system because that's essentially the easiest egress into this timeline. Those guys are humans from the future. Their goal was to essentially mold this timeline so that they could exist. There have been a lot of strides with them recently, and they've backed off quite a lot. The council was able to convince them that basically they don't need to do that. Essentially, they're going consciousness. It exists whether or not time is pissed off at you. So no matter what happens in our timeline here, where we are today, they're still going to exist. There's no need. You see?
Cass, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, because I can't hear you in my monitor anymore. I don't know what happened. Oh, there we go. All right. Keep talking. Tell me more.
Gotcha. All right. So like I said, those guys, their only purpose here was to figure out how to engineer that they would still exist. There's a particular, the Love and Light crowd are going to love this. There's a particular vortex happening right now inside Sol. So not Sol as in your soul inside of, as in the name for the sun. Okay.
Right.
The sun is in flux. Your astrophysicist can tell you that. The thing is that a given star controls the physics of the system. You see what I mean? Not like consciously, like it's alive, although that debate could be had. But it's like the nucleus of an atom. Okay? So what the sun is doing right now is a very, very important point in the flow of time. All right? So basically, this planet could go any direction right now. It could, as the Christians could say, it could be raptured or it could go to hell. You know, as a UFO crowd would say, you know, the Dracos are here. Oh no, you know, it could go any direction. It's really all up to your species. You guys are in charge. You are creators.
How is that though? I mean, to me, there's things happening and it's beyond our control. So I don't understand why you're saying the ball's in my court, in our court, because I don't see anybody doing anything about it. I don't see their government doing anything about it. Does the government do anything about it? I'd like to get myself a fucking gun and just be ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's not a bad idea.
Guy. I just don't want to, I don't want, you know, cause I have a family. I have my people. Yeah. So what are we expecting here? I don't understand this at all.
Well, what to expect is really, really difficult. I have a few different models of what's coming. One of them, it does not predict good things. And essentially we'll know if there's a terror attack on, this is going to sound really weird, but it's very specific, on Milan, Italy at the beginning of Fashion Week. And when that happens,
don't mess up my Fashion Week.
Right? Oh my God, that's pretty dresses. Don't even get me started. But yeah,
I'm wearing I have a 99-cent coat that I got in Scotland. 99 cents at the dollar store. They have a pound, 1 pound store there.
Nice.
Anyway, I'm not throwing that out. That doesn't make any, who cares? So
no, it's all right.
So yeah, that's, to me, it's what do you expect? Obviously there's things.
I'm expecting war.
There's things that have changed. There's things that are changing. I mean, we're looking at a new variant on the COVID virus and this whole crisis. That's people keep calling it a pandemic, but it's an endemic because this is not going away anytime soon.
No,
and that's a whole nother story. And I don't really want to talk about that, but it's something that basically affects what we do every day. And this is a microorganism that we can't control, or we're not going to fix this anytime soon. So we have these things up above us. Are they up above us? Where are they? It's
above is really, really strange. The navigation technology is kind of outside space. You see, it has to do more with gravity than anything else. So above is relative. You might see one above you, but it's not inside real space. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint. But that's why, like the USOs, they can achieve Mach speeds underwater, and there isn't a tsunami. Right. They're not moving through real space. It just appears that way to people here. That being said, that's one of the reasons why there's all the mutilations and whatnot going on, is that they need to perfect the radiation normalization technology. Otherwise, they'll die if they come out of hyperspace fully and just like land in Times Square, which is what everybody wants, including them.
You mentioned mutilations, and I have my own theory behind that. But one of the reasons is, I mean, I always say that here we are as humans. We have. Do you know where I'm going with this? We have this dominion over all these huge animals, and then we mutilate them ourselves, and then we eat them. So we have these gray guys up above, and they're looking down on us, thinking, "Wow, what a powerful entity these humans are." But is that the case at all? Because to me, if they have this outstanding technology, they shouldn't be afraid of us at all. Is there fear? Do they feel fear? Do they feel anything?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Yeah, they do.
Why? Why would somebody, why would an organism that has evolved the way they have feelings, empathy, or anything? There's no purpose of that.
Whoa.
Is there
no purpose?
Is there do they have a purpose? Okay, why?
Oh, it's actually a survival trait. And it's one of those things
but that's it is to us. But why to something that advanced? It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, let's just put this in base survival terms. There's a particular species within the council that count their manhood in planets exterminated. If you don't have empathy for them, they won't have empathy for you. No, you don't. Not on the
not
scale
all of us, but
about.
I'm saying some people subscribe to that.
No, you see, there's like genocide and whatnot. That's bad enough. I'm talking like even bacteria is gone. Okay, I'm talking about scrubbed life, as in life becomes death.
Okay.
Okay. If you do not show them empathy, they will not show you empathy. So it's a simple survival thing, really. And then once a species embraces the idea that, the golden rule kind of is universal, cooperation becomes very, very quick after that. It's a very, very short leap from, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill each other for 5 seconds, to, hey, maybe we should work together, to, hey, look at that, we're all doing great. It's a step in society. Species like those guys exist to keep the balance,
Right.
So,
yeah.
Like humans think they know evil because you guys have Hitler. You don't understand. You're not a bad race. And so many humans lately are like, oh, humans are shit. No, you are a race in PTSD. The Anunnaki screwed you guys up bad. Okay.
So how long ago would that have been?
About 14K years ago was when you guys drove them off planet. And they responded by, hurling a comet at you guys.
How did we do that though? I mean, I think that's worth noting because is that going to
You're
happen?
going to love it.
Is that going to happen again? Tell me and how that happened and will it happen again?
It was all about spoken language. See, the thing is spoken language is actually pretty rare. There's the joke, like in Men in Black, that human language is so primitive that it's considered an infectious disease. There's actually a little bit something to that.
I agree.
Verbal speech is considered extremely basic. Now, you guys have heard me on the show, like speaking in my language. It's very guttural. It's basically growls, pops, and clicks. The majority of language is actually light language, essentially telepathy. And incidentally, that's why you guys are dangerous. Your minds are like blades when you're focused. I'm not joking. You can cut the consciousness off at the root, and it's terrifying what humans can do.
So how do we get that focus? I mean, I don't have that focus. Just listening to me right now, I don't have that focus.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Is any individual doesn't need to. You see, the collective. And I don't mean collective like in the 1984 sense. I mean like the collective unconscious will correct itself. It's already healing.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it. Is that you personally don't need to. If you wanted to, you could learn it. You think of it like mental martial arts, But at the same time, don't forget the physical. Again, a bullet works just fine. What is that? The chain link fencing. Put some of that around your house. You guys can look up at home, like on Google, ways you can introduce basically a safe space from like Wi-Fi signals. It's not terribly dissimilar. Now you're going to want to use better materials, obviously.
So when you said Faraday cage, is that to keep them from finding me?
No. They keep them from projecting in.
Okay.
See, if you have a Faraday cage set up around your house and they do manage to get a gray in there, then the consciousness link that allows them to pilot the gray box will fail. Grays go feral if that control fails, and it's not pretty. So they generally don't do it. They'll pick an easier prey. There's plenty of other people. Like if you have something they want, like in your genes or whatever, and I don't mean your pants, I mean your DNA, and you're prepared, they're just going to pick somebody else. There's 7 billion people on the planet. Somebody else has what they want. So it's not like every human being like, oh, everybody get up, we need you all, or anything like that. It's all about waves and understanding. If you guys believe me at all, or even want to see if I'm talking shit, look up the 100th monkey experiment. Okay. Now, the 100th monkey experiment was the first step on proving that there is a conscious link between all members of a given species. This is important.
Well, just to let everybody know is, you mentioned if you think you're full of shit. Honestly,
hey, lots of people do. It's all right.
Hold on. I've never ever thought that. And one of the reasons, there's no way I can ever trip you up. I mean, I wouldn't try to trip you up. I think that, everything that I say, I've ever asked of you, you have an answer. So, and it's immediate. You're not thinking about it. It's like immediate. So to me, that's incredible. So, I mean, how is it that I have, there's no way you have anticipated every question that I could ever think of. I'm not feeding you questions. I mean, there's a couple of people that are listening on YouTube and responding right now. If you have questions, you could ask Cassidy any question you want to. He's going to respond to it immediately, just like he is mine. So,
hi, Apollo 11.
Yeah. So this is not anything contrived. It's not anything that we plan out. It's I don't even like to say it that it's real because I don't even understand any of it. I don't understand you. I mean, I love talking to you.
Trying.
And we're in contact with each other a lot, but it's not, I don't ever, when we're not talking about what we're talking about right now, we're not talking about it. I mean, the only time I ever want to talk to you about this stuff that we're talking about right now is when we do this. I don't want to tomorrow or Sunday, I'm not going to throw any questions at you like, why does this happen or why. I want to save it because it's super important. I want people to hear it as it is. And as
That's a
you
good point.
think about it, and I want them to hear about it coming directly from you, spontaneously and naturally. And that's what I do. And that's what I'm good at. I think you're better at. I think it's
Well,
totally organic and it works, and you are basically telling us what is on your mind and what's coming from you at the moment. It doesn't happen any other way. Is that right?
pretty much. Like when people are asking questions, it's like this is stuff I learned back home.
Back home where?
Malaqua. Malaqua is a human pronunciation for what we called our world.
Is that in Eastern Washington?
No. That's not even in this galaxy. Some people say it's not in this dimension, but that gets real tricky. But essentially, it was a world, a planet, like anybody else. We had, essentially, we orbited the gas giant. The gas giant orbited a blue giant. It was really, really awesome. And then it blew up, and now we're here.
So let me ask you this question, because in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and I think about this a lot. I've thought about it since I was maybe 5 years old, maybe even prior to that. But to me, I would think of a being that visits this earth from somewhere else, that they would have to be space travelers. And when I say space travelers, I'm talking about for millions of years. So I think that they would have had to travel for millions of years, without resting on a planet, without being on a planet, have the ability to be self-contained, have the ability to rebuild, repair, build new, expand out in space, without landing on a planet, have the ability to regenerate whatever it is, whatever their species, their food supply, their vehicle, spontaneously. They would have to be able to do this without doing massive amounts of research that would take years, but have the ability to do it now, begin now, finish later, have the ability to live and die in space, have the ability to possibly reincarnate in space. Is any of that remotely accurate? Say yes.
Depends
Say
on,
yes, because that's really fucking cool, man.
yes, it
Okay,
is.
yeah.
It is, and it is also true. That is exactly how generation ships work. Point of fact, reincarnation has to be taken into effect. See, on this planet, people view reincarnation as a spiritual mumbo jumbo thing, but point blank, our technology is what you would call spiritual. We understand the energy of faith, what you guys would call faith. We understand faith and how to essentially focus it, conduct it like electricity. Same thing with gravity in space. And yeah, there's lots of reasons to use a generation ship. So if a species were using a generation ship, to travel between galaxies, it would take millions of years. And so much would have to be planned for. But those kinds of technologies do exist. We call them craft worlds.
There you go. Craft worlds. Is that what you said?
Yep. And for you gamers out there that did not come from Warhammer 40K, they got the term from us. Sorry. So I have a lot of sci-fi touches on a lot of reality. So I like to address that, especially since I'm a big dork. But yeah. What a lot of humans, go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yes.
So, I mean, this astounds me because I wouldn't even try to trip you up. I mean, I could ask you anything right now. And, I mean, that what I just asked you came from my brain, and it's something I thought about for a very, very long time. And you have an answer.
Oh, well, I'm glad you thought of it.
And I like the answer. It's not. I mean, it's not just any BS bullshit answer. It's a good answer. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So let me ask you this about one of the things that I was thinking about today, and I don't even like to talk about COVID, but one of the things that we as humans have had to endure over the millennia for very, very long time is the fact that periodically these viruses pop up and wipe us out.
Yeah.
Bacteria wipes us out. All kinds of disease wipe us out. But um, specifically, we were for a long time we're really worried and concerned about Ebola virus, which seemingly is very, very bad and it's going to most likely kill you. However, it's not one of those viruses that are super, super transmissible like COVID, which is
Right.
very easy to get. So we have all these people who are contracting and they get it, and there's people, that just it's fantastic that they have no symptoms whatsoever. However, there's people that instantly, in a week they're dead. My brother who had a cold, which mirrors everything like this from in 1997 on a Saturday, Sunday, he had this cold, and Thursday he was on a ventilator, which he was on for about 45 days, I believe, and he died, just like these people are right now. And it's unbelievable to me. But so we have this virus, and there's all these variants now that are popping up, and it's changing,
Yeah.
mutations. So my point is that, this is something that is a super, super inconvenience. And when that seed is planted that there's a possibility that it's going to eliminate us from the planet, we take it very seriously. And it, like we saw today when the stock markets opened in Japan and in England, the market, the FTSE just tanked immediately, and it set this whole process in motion where basically, people are losing a lot of money and it's really fucking people over. So, is this just a random thing that happens? Are we getting too deep in the
No.
jungle and coming up with all this shit, or is something else at work afoot? What?
Well,
Case.
this gets into some pretty crazy stuff, so bear with me. I would like to point out to everybody that when the pandemic first began, and they weren't even calling it a pandemic yet, I laid it all out for the entire world, so the whole audience could see. And that way, if I was wrong, everybody would know I was wrong. So yeah, it was recently discovered that no, I was not wrong. The COVID was originated in the Gobi Desert. Now here's the thing. A lot of people were starting to cotton on to this, but Egypt had tunnels under the ground to a lot of weird places all around the world. They recently found one all the way to Scotland. So it's been proven that's not legend anymore. That's fact. They don't know where else these tunnels go, but they've managed to, in fact, connect the one to Scotland and prove that the story of the Egyptian pharaohess that fled to Scotland to hide was in fact true. Okay. In the Gobi Desert, in the areas where people don't go, there's tales of like a death worm and all these things. I don't know if the death worm is real, but that would be really cool. Anyway, there's an Egyptian tomb.
You would love
inside
that.
the Egypt. Dude, I would. I'm a biologist, man. I'd be like, hey, Mr. Worm, come in. The worm would be like running away. No, bite me. I want to study the effects. But anyway, so in this tomb in the Gobi Desert, there is supposedly a curse. Now, I don't want to get into the metaphysics of it. That gets a little bit too far out there. But coronavirus comes from one of the canopic jars in that tomb that got broken. And that's why there's no defense against it. The individual big pharma companies wanted to study it, and they do have, there is something to be said for gain of function research, but this is not an ordinary microorganism. This is a sapient predatory microorganism. I say this as somebody who's cured literally thousands of cases of COVID using my people's technology. No, I don't have 100% rate.
Sapiens and cats, so that's a double whammy for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you get vaccinated?
No, are you kidding me? Illnesses get into my body and then run away scared. My physiology takes care of it.
Come on, free vaccinations.
Hell no. Mess with somebody else's RNA.
It's a free. It's better than like 3 for $1 hot dogs, man. It's free.
Yeah, no, even Cher's doctors were like, we have no way of knowing how this is going to interact with your people's DNA.
But that's a different. She's very vulnerable, and we got to protect her.
Yeah. The
sorry, I didn't mean to. So
no, it's okay. It's okay.
So go back 3 steps and commence, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, in the future, this time period is going to be recorded as the planet's first brush with bioeugenic warfare. You can't see the pattern yet, but the pattern will start to arise when all the politics are swept away and people can actually study the actual spread and virology of the thing. You see what I mean? Yeah. COVID has favored prey, and it looks for specific things in specific people's DNA. That's how viruses work. So the pattern will begin to emerge once people can study it without politics.
So who has a trusted word on this?
Honestly, this is going to sound bizarrely self-deferential, but I would watch Cassidy's show and trust Cassidy. Quite frankly,
don't you be taking people away from this piece?
No, I'm not. It's just, I just went through like a year and a half of people screaming at me about Fauci says, and now here we are at the end, and everybody's going, "Oh, you said this at the beginning. You were right." Well, I am a biologist. I was something like a doctor back home, so I took that education here and got into biology.
So it's so easy to say you're right, because right now, like in the last 3-4 days, like Jeremy L. Corbell is like, remember, I told you people about this, like it's happening right now. I keep telling you. And it's like, I don't remember Jeremy telling me about that, but now he's telling me that he was telling us about it. So
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I could easily say, hey, Cass, you remember I was telling you about this, and you'd like,
that's why I said it on the camera, man.
Yeah.
That's why I put it on an episode.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily, to me, that's not evidence. That means jack shit to me when somebody says, I'm not talking about you at all, but I'm saying, I've been telling you about this for a long time. And I told George Knapp about it, and like, I don't care about, and I don't really care about when somebody tells anybody else or even says, they talk about what they talk about 6 months ago. I mean, let's talk about what's happening right now, because it's really just odd to me that this thing, it's not odd that it keeps changing. And of course, we're not used to, hearing about the common cold in detail. No. It's a big deal, because people were dying of pneumonia, the cold, whatever, and we didn't really talk about it. The stakes are a bit higher, and there's also some long-term health effects and things like that people are suffering. So, it's again, we do have a population problem, I believe, and people are getting too deep in the weeds. And when you get to that place, you discover a lot of things that are going to bite you, Cass.
I'm going to disagree with you slightly on there. The problem isn't a population one; it's a distribution one. A planet of this size can, statistically speaking, comfortably support animals of your size, about top population of about 9 billion. It's beyond that.
Exactly.
Beyond that. The thing is we're about to hit that number, so I can disagree with you, but only slightly. The problem is when a species hits a certain population saturation, the mitochondria start dying. And if anybody who's ever kept pets where like they had to like feed them crickets, you know what I'm talking about. You put too many crickets in a cage, they just spontaneously die. Humans don't spontaneously die; they get extremely violent. So, but yeah, so
we see a little bit of that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's already begun. We're going to be seeing more and more hysteria. The thing is, this is not the human's natural state. You guys are being affected, and I can actually prove that to anybody who can read a damn satellite, but they won't look. You know, and it's like the COVID. It's a sore
What do you,
subject.
hold on. What do you mean by that? Read a satellite. What are you talking about?
Well, satellites are really easy to read. And now NASA has a number of satellites that are open to the public domain because, quite frankly, they need help processing all the information. So they utilize some kind of file share program. I don't quite understand your guys' computer technology. But either way, so while you're looking at the NASA satellite, the NASA is getting the benefits of your computer. People say, oh, that's Big Brother. Yeah, it is. But, it also gives you advantages. They can't hide that information. So when you're reading their satellites and utilizing these programs, you're getting the raw data. Okay, the satellites actually show that there's a major disruption in the EM field on this planet right now, and that disruption is coming from a point within the atmosphere about 7 miles above the surface. You can actually triangulate that if you know how to read your satellites. So that's why anybody can do that. Anybody can go look. So the thing is that this EM field is known to interact with mitochondria on all orders of life that we know about in this scale. You see, like even my cells are being affected. What this does is it puts the mitochondria into a state of panic, and that affects the human biology. So what people are feeling is a constant, low-key, absolute atavistic panic, almost imperceptible, but it's affecting everything.
So I think it's kind of interesting, and I think you brought up this point that we're a bit at a tipping point, some sort of nexus. Yeah, and I've heard the 9 billion, and we're getting close. Well, the other thing is too that this huge factor of pollution and plastic that's in the ocean, and if you've ever been out there, if you ever scuba dive, even if you've ever been on a boat, that's on a ship, whatever, that's hundreds of miles offshore. I mean, you can't go 50 feet without seeing it. So there's all these things that are happening, and none of them are good. That's not a good thing. Temperature wise, we definitely have a temperature problem, and you can't really, I don't want to talk about the environment, but you can't really deny the fact that we have shit's melting, man. I live just south of Glacier National Park, and fuck, 2 years, 3, 4, there's not going to be any left. Are they going to change the name? No, but we're going to have all these people from California want to see Glacier National Park, and there's no glaciers there anymore, and there won't be. And that's true. So when you look at even further north and in places that are predominantly made of ice, things are changing, and there's wildlife there, and there's not a lot of places for those critters to go. So things are changing quite quickly, and I've heard this word before, and it's been a long time, but Art Bell and used to have people on there talk about the quickening, and it's getting quicker, Cass.
Yes, sir. Let me put it this way, and this might sound like spiritual mumbo jumbo, but your biosphere's screaming can be heard in the Andromeda galaxy. That's why we're here. When we first arrived in '93, we thought you guys were the infestation. We were about to open up on your species when this always sounds really weird, and people think I'm exaggerating, but our technology is such that when you die, we can see you and interact with you and hear you and feel you. Okay, what you guys would call the dream time, if you know anything about Native American or Aboriginal lore, that's like 1 degree of separation from our home. So we were literally about to come at you guys with everything we had, specifically to rescue you, and then we met your suicides. It was like a wave. Everybody that committed suicide, not the natural deaths or the murders or anything like that. It was really, really weird. Just the suicides just started showing up in our ships. And we learned from those of you who were literally so despairing that you were ready to give up your life that you were not the problem. The problem is hiding amongst you, but it can't hide forever. And yeah, I know you guys are listening. We found you, and we're coming.
Who's we?
The Lyrans, and Tribes of Light, Pleiadians, Arcturians, there are even people here from Andromeda. which is always weird. Like people, my alien contacts are from planet Andromeda. Andromeda's a galaxy. Oh, it's always fun.
But I mean, don't criticize people for having those thoughts because we have a hard time separating it and figuring this shit out. I mean, it's not like we've been out there and we've had a chance to explore and have a plan of mapping it out, but it's that's a whole different experience that I'm not going to experience it. I don't know anybody who will experience it. So it's a very unique process.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest. Until a few years ago, I thought that humans were all kind of playing this collective game that you could all see what's going on, but you were all just going to pretend. And whoever says something first loses. And I realized, alive on an episode, mind you, that no, that's not the case at all. I was apologizing to everyone who's been waiting for artwork that, my tendon hasn't healed yet in my hand. It's mostly healed, but it's not quite enough that I can paint yet. And my co-hosts were looking at me like, what? And I was like, what did I say wrong? And they're like, Cassidy, tendons don't heal. I'm like, oh. And then that got me thinking. So I started asking, and the audience members were like, no, we can't see any of this, man. We're not playing a game. And I realized I was being the asshole. So I'm sorry, everybody. I'm learning. I'm a work in progress like everybody else.
But so much. Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, what's you're talking about the mysteries of the universe and the ability to interpret something so vast that a good part of most of the population of this planet and whoever knows what else or who knows what else, they're not going to be able to interpret it either. So,
yeah.
So is there a point? Is there a need or a ability or a process to even begin to understand what's happening?
I hope so. I've been trying my damnedest.
Okay, that's a bad answer. I expected.
Sorry. Dude, I'm here on a mission. I don't know how it's going to play out yet. Yeah. Okay, well, there is a lot of positive. There's lots of reasons to hope. There were several sites that were buried by, what you might call the Atlanteans. We're just going to call them the Atlanteans for the sake of brevity. There are several sites around the planet the Atlanteans hit before the comet hit, specifically for this time. And there's a lot of hope. We just have to get there. I believe from something that someone said to me, and then I realized this is going to be a little weird, so just bear with me. I believe the answers are in India. There are a few temples there that people don't understand how they were built. And for whatever reason, you're not allowed to go in these temples. Like the government will shoot you before they let you go in these temples. But the government has asked me to come to these temples. They say there's something in there I need to see. And I suspect it has to do with whatever's under Giza in Egypt. But I don't know for sure. What I do know is that it's all going to be okay. This sounds really weird, but when you can see outside of time, this is all just a bump in the road, man. And there have been a lot worse. A lot worse.
So everything's
going to be okay.
There's this conspiracy faction out there. Now you mentioned tunnels that lead to wherever, but there's a huge conspiracy faction out there who believe in all these tunnels that connect all these things on our globe, and they connect even the Vatican and to the Vatican hides vast amounts of wealth in there. I mean, it's just So where does this come from, and is there any truth to any of it? And what should we believe? Because I don't really believe that there's a vast underground network, and we need to worry about giants roaming the earth that are concealing this wealth, and it's under the control of the Vatican and whatever. I'm not an Alex Jones type person. So, and I'm not condemning anybody who believes in that, but I'm just wondering, what do you read, Cass? I mean, where do you get your
Well,
information? Obviously, there's some stuff out there that's laughable.
indeed. Mostly, I don't believe anything that I can't prove myself. I've actually debunked more mystics and light workers and whatnot than that I found that are real, and that's one of the reasons why the mystical community freaking hates me. Basically, believe what you can prove to yourself. Look into science, the scientific method. I'm not saying listen to scientists. That's just become another form of demagoguery. I mean, look at Bill Nye saying that whatever's in your pants isn't real. I mean, come on, give me a break. Okay, but the scientific process is very universal. It's the process as described by your scientist is damn near perfect. The only thing that you guys need to learn is step 2: remove all emotional attachment from the results. Don't try to bend your information to make what you believe is true. So, for example, with Giza, everybody who wants to can look it up themselves, and they can see that they have, in fact, discovered a very large underground chamber exactly where, now I can't remember his name, famous psychic. I want to say Casey?
Sorry.
David Wilcock is the reincarnation of this guy. I can't remember his name. But it's right where he said it was. And anybody, if you have radar technology, which believe it or not, a lot of people do, because like treasure hunting is actually a pretty big hobby, you can see it for yourself. Massive chamber, strangely, bizarrely cut edges. It's not like a big underground cave. Same thing with the Skull Place, Mohenjo-Daro. How do those people know exactly how to preserve those stones and why? The answer is that the technology that came previous used to utilize certain types of stone as data storage. With the right types of sound waves, you can retrieve the data.
Right.
But there's just way too much information to cut through it all. And that was a major thing that I had to come to terms with. Is that we're not all working with the same sensory packages. And we've got to put our heads together. There's things you guys have to understand that I don't, like cars moving fast hurt, So it's the situation on Earth.
Yeah, that's a bit stupid, isn't it?
It is. It seems that way,
I mean, just look at Instagram and watch these fucking people driving these cars. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, why do we do that?
I don't know. I think it's like a fascination with taking your fate into your own hands by daring, safety.
But I think going very fast is cool, but it's the flip side of that is not good.
Well, yeah, the sudden stop at the end is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So basically, I'm reading this comment and on the thing, because I'm also watching the show. I just have the volume turned down. And, he basically, bro, you're right. How did I don't, in 2020 hindsight, I don't know what I was thinking. That's why I said I was being the asshole here,
Right.
So it seems so obvious now, but then again, how much does in 2020 hindsight? The people expect us to be here and they expect us to have all the answers. And it's like, why would we be exploring if we already had the answers? Every planet presents its own problems. This ain't my first rodeo, but it's the first time I've been to Earth. So, but yeah. So that's to answer your question, bro. And then, I fully admit I was being a jerk. I was being a pompous jerk. I'm learning better. The thing is the Pleiadians have similar troubles. Like, you have any idea how hard it is to get a Pleiadian to eat, especially the ones that are visitors, not the starseeds. The starseeds are cool.
Isn't it?
But the visitors.
Aren't you a lover of sports drinks?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And why is that again? Tell me that, because that was interesting to me. We never talked about that. I don't want to talk about it much now, but it was because of
It's because of the injury that I received. So I need to stay extraordinarily hydrated. Otherwise, Basically, long story short, I was on a job. My intestines got ripped open by an entity that was a little bit stronger than I anticipated. And I healed, so I did not die. My people healed real fast. Not like Wolverine fast. Otherwise, I swear to God, I'd be out dressed like a bat, jumping from rooftop to rooftop right now, man. But fast enough to keep us alive. So unfortunately, the internal scarring will rip open from time to time, and I lose moisture at an incredibly bad rate. Now, I think the reason why I think you were talking about the monster coffees, though, and that's a different thing entirely.
And what is that?
Now, my body, that is a deficiency in the way my people process foods. We are obligate carnivores. Now, a lot of the starseeds out there listening will say, "Hey, I'm a Pleiadian, or I'm a Lyran starseed, and I can eat veggies." Congratulations. That's why it's better to be a starseed. I envy you. Enjoy that shit. Eat one for me. You know, but that's a chemical issue, provable by medicine. My body and others and others like me, the other visitors, we do not process vegetable matter. I cannot eat vegetable matter. It comes out the other end quite unprocessed. And in addition to that, I can't process things like taurine.
So
now,
yeah,
coffee,
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Monster Coffee has a lot of extra taurine. So basically, I'm not getting proper nutrition unless I'm taking some kind of taurine supplement. And if yes, you want to make that a dude bro joke, like, he likes a sports drink. Sure, whatever. How about it? Absolutely. Let's do it. Hey, Monster, give me a jingle. Right?
I love espresso.
Love Monster Coffee.
I love
anything
purple. You know, what's that? I love the purple sports drinks. So
I don't know. Purple is a fun color, though.
You said something about vegetables and it coming out your other end. So you have two ends. Interesting.
Well, yeah.
All right.
So do you, and we all do.
But that's interesting because I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the anatomy. I know it's just bizarre.
Yeah, it really is. Well, under the skin, I am obviously not one of you. The trouble has been getting like Dr. Greer's attention. I need to have somebody in the know take a look at me and say, "Hey, okay, that's one other thing that's legit." I'm like I've been saying, I'm here on mission. I have failed part one, which was to prevent the pandemic. You know, so yeah.
All right.
It was actually really weird. I got a member from East City Ranch said, "Well, the reason why we won't talk is you seem so desperate." I'm like, "Do you know what's coming? You claim to be. Do you have any idea what's coming?" "Oh, well, it's going to be okay." No, it is not. Unsin, it's wasn't. Basically, I can't accomplish this mission without help.
So I'm thinking, this is like, I don't know, our 4th, 5th podcast, or we've talked to each other. And you just come up with new stuff like all the time. Why should I be surprised? There's not an end to it. I mean, I could talk about my life in detail for years, if I just kept going on. And you're doing the same thing, but you're different. You're not like this guy here. But then who am I? I mean, this might not be real. I mean, I could be.
Well, that gets into like what you were talking about earlier, matrix theory, and we could talk about that for long.
My thing is that the matrix is, I mean, to me, the
matrix.
Go ahead.
The Matrix was a fun way to tell an ancient story. It's basically just Gilgamesh all over again.
Yeah, but there's there's organisms out there and they're doing things. They're interacting with each other, and there's, I believe,
Indeed.
But there's life. I mean, it's prolific everywhere in the universe, and the further we go out there, the more different it would be. And the universe is so vast that just about anything that you could imagine could be possible, just because that's how big it is. Statistically, there could be so much and so many different variations. It's mind
Yeah.
blowing.
It's terrifying either way. I can't remember that dude. He does it's a quote, either either the universe is teeming with life or we're alone, and either probability is terrifying. From the position of a terrestrial locked people, I get it. I didn't used to get it, but I get it. I think I get it now. I think I get it. Watching my daughter die in a way that I could not do, and like our technology couldn't do jack or squat,
It's tough, man.
and it's
I think about you
the
all the
only
time.
Oh, thank you, bro. The prayers really do help, and it seems like spiritual mumbo jumbo, but prayers help.
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. But yeah, it was. I think I had to understand helplessness before I could understand your people.
I don't understand. I don't understand my people, Cass. Come on.
Yeah, but we have to find a way together, man. We're all in this together.
That's true. That's true, but it's tough. I don't get it.
Agreed.
I don't get it.
Agreed. Yeah. That's why I think just step one is I just want people to realize you are not the sum of all the evils going on around you. Evil is being inflicted upon your people. But in general, people are good with some bad tendencies, and I can prove it mathematically. So, but yeah, the mission is pretty important. I have to get to Giza. I have to get to Mohenjo-Daro and a few other places. I don't know what I'll find, and it doesn't have to be me. I want everybody to understand this. If you're out there and you can operate the old technology and you can survive the radiation, do it. I don't want to go to Egypt. It's hot, and I'm afraid of spiders.
And you'll be molested nonstop by people trying to rip your money out of your pockets.
Yeah, that's the least of the worries. How
many rides on camels can you take in a week? Like that'd be cool once, but
yeah, I just feel sorry for the camel. The camel would be running past me.
Those camels, on my back? It's horrible. Those poor camels.
Yeah, ungulates do not like me. Even horses, they look at me like, "What the hell?"
We can talk about anything on this thing.
Indeed.
So let me just stop 1 second because I want to tell everybody. So you're listening to my Alien Life podcast, and if you would please, it's available everywhere you listen to find podcasts, including podbean.com, and wherever you are, follow or what else? Follow, subscribe, whatever. So it makes it easier for everybody to find this thing. So if you don't hit that button, it's really, that's all I'm asking. It's free, and you can listen every day. You can listen to these things over and over and over again. So please subscribe. Please follow. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. So is Cass. You can find him on my page. You can find him in these podcast notes. I've named him as my producer because he's been so nice to provide me with Zoom, and Zoom is great. I'm kind of liking this Facebook thing, or I'm sorry, YouTube thing though, because I'd like to see Cass's beautiful face, and I'm sure there's a way to do that. And I'm not really a video guy,
Well, I'm still set up from the show. I could flip it on and call you on something if you wanted to, but I don't know if you have the equipment to show it on the screen.
You mean through YouTube?
Yeah, or whatever. I know we're watching this on YouTube, but I'm not sure how you're broadcasting.
Yeah, I set it
still
up.
Learning about this technology.
I set it up on YouTube.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
This is YouTube 1, and then it'll go to. So when I'm done, I will link it through Podbean, and then it'll probably upload itself. This is video. This is video. So if I need to convert it to audio, I'll probably make an audio version of this too, because this is a good podcast. This is a good one. I've had a good time, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, because I'm totally astounded. We never run out of things to say. And we don't run any, it's totally spontaneous. We never, I don't have notes. I'm not looking off notes. I'm not bragging, I'm sure notes would have helped.
Indeed.
So I'm sorry that we didn't take any notes, but next time. All right. So tell me about your family, what's going on, and how's your daughter doing, and what's happening?
Shar is doing very, very well. The doctors finally started listening to me because she shares that same chromosome, and so they finally started listening. And when I was able to prove that my people's technology can in fact do certain things, the hospital actually went so far as to hire her a Reiki team. So once they started cooperating, everything has been amazing. The aneurysms are healing. The venal and arterial walls are healing. Everything is healing. She's actually pulled off now 3 different first time observed under medical observation phenomena, including most especially the aneurysm healing itself. And I tried to tell him, it's like, look, she's my daughter. She's gonna heal. I'm like, oh, that's impossible. I mean, you know what? How about I stab myself right now and you watch? They didn't like that.
We can do that?
Yeah, actually, one of my plans eventually is to. No, I'm actually serious. One of the plans eventually is to invite an audience member to break my leg, and then on camera we'll all together watch how long it takes to heal. I can tell you guys day and night about the medical records, but that's just some guy talking smack. I got to show people. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck, but it's worth it.
No, it's not going to be worth it, but.
Well, I hope we can find a better way. I don't like this plan. So, but her doctors have agreed to let us release her medical and genetic information. Basically, it all comes down to this. They finally looked into my medical records, and they were able to see that something about Sikh medical teachings knows how to deal with my people. According to the Sikhs, we are kind of deva, and I don't want to go into that because I don't know enough about that religion to speak properly. But the Sikhs have a way to treat people like us, so they started listening. And if they can get any more information by releasing this to the public, they're willing to. They want to save Shar. The United States government actively is trying to save my daughter. They know who we are. They know where we're from. It's been proven to them. I have a CIA handler, the whole 9 yards.
Cool.
It's just there's other people afoot. Like whoever the enemy is, the same people that erased Bob Lazar erased me. Like anybody wants to, Cassidy Dunning, look me up. You can see the gaps, just gone. Like I fell off the face of the planet.
So if you don't believe a word we've said tonight, believe in the fact that this man, this person, this being has a beautiful daughter, and it's a struggle and it's been hard. And I've known you like 3 years now, almost 3 years.
Yeah, I think you know me since before Shar's heart started failing.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. So it's gone fast, man.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember. So I was looking back on a message today that I got from Bradley and Bradley Powers, and he mentioned you, and I'm not sure the context what it was, but it was a while ago, and I was like, it was early 2019, and he was mentioning you, and so yeah, it's been great to know you, and it's been indeed a pleasure, and thank you very much, because it's been super interesting. It's always interesting, and I haven't been there, specifically when things, were rough and different roughnesses and things that were happening. But, I was there, and I saw it, and I saw the mention of it, and I was always thinking about you guys. And so, I appreciate the fact that you've been so generous with your time, even though you've been through a lot.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. It's funny. I remember that first time you showed up on mine and Bradley's show, and I didn't recognize you. And it's like, wait, I know that voice. Where do I know that voice from?
That's why I changed. That's why I changed. I mean, I didn't change my name, but I quit using my real last name because nobody was pronouncing it correctly. Nobody,
Yeah.
Cameron Brower, nobody was. So Logan's my middle name. So then that was easier. So I thought, shit.
Logan sounds more heroic anyway.
I changed everything right then, because it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's a little hard to pronounce, I guess, but this is a little more specific. So,
Yeah.
so I think we've come to an end because I really got to pee, man.
I know the feeling.
So that's when you're doing this solo and you don't have any commercials or sponsors, that's why I did want to throw in there though. Yeah. I appreciate everybody going to my website, www.myalienlifepodcast.com. And there's a bunch of stuff there. And
Yeah, it's good.
if people want to put their own stuff there, I just get it to me and I'll put it in there. I don't care what's in there. I think it's just interesting to have a myriad or a cornucopia of, being that it's Thanksgiving, of crap, and people can go in there and just discover, what people do and why life is weird. And there's different people and beings and whatever than us. And we'll never be able to fully figure it out in this lifetime. And there's always going to be some mystery. And thank you, sir, for providing a lot of mystery and a lot of answers, because I feel just bizarre and weird asking you these questions, because it pertains to my experiences, and yeah, I have a hard time asking you specific questions, because for the most part I don't even want to know. And that's true, because it's like, it's scary and I don't want to know. I don't want to know what I saw. I don't want to know what I felt. I don't want to know what I experienced. And those people who go through hypno regression therapy, I'm just like, they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's just trouble. I mean, that's my opinion. It's good for whoever wants to do it, but wow.
You got to be ready.
It's hard.
You know?
It's hard. So, we did this for almost over 2 hours now. You were kind enough to join. I'm glad you were able to figure out your phone.
Yeah. Sorry, it's an old cricket phone.
But
I really do need to replace it.
The guy does like 4 or 5 podcasts a day, Monday through Sunday, Sunday through Monday, Wednesday through Wednesday. He's always on. But so are you still doing it every day? Because I remember for a long time, like I would go sit down somewhere and I would turn on my phone and there you were, like over and over and over and over again. I was like, what is he on all the time? And he's like a televangelist, one of those guys who just do it 24/7, and just, you weren't asking for money, but you were just on, I could see you all the time.
No. Well, that's the thing, is if somebody's information is for real, they're not going to be charging you for it. The situation is too grave, So if somebody says, I'll tell you about the aliens for $39.95, then he's full of crap.
Yeah, but I'd pay that. That's worth it to me. $14 for aliens? Come on.
Okay, to me, that's a lot of money.
No, just one $14 charge. I'd do it. So, all right, so
that's eating for a day.
All right, it's 9:14 for us, right? Both of us.
Yes.
PM?
Yes, sir.
All right.
On the dot.
Cassidy Lightwing, thank you very much. You're a generous person, individual, alien. I think the world of you, and I'll never stump you. You have all the answers. There's big things ahead in your future. I can't even imagine why you're not on every talk show, whatever. Yeah, dude, I would hate that.
That would be very inconvenient.
Fuck me. I'm sorry. I mean, so if I don't know if everybody knows this, I teach at this college here, and I do a podcasting class, and it's a continuing education class. It's 6 sessions. It's 2 hours each. And, I started doing it. It's a hugely great idea. And I love meeting with these people, but I'm like, when I started, we had 800,000 podcasts out there. Now it's, I think it's topped 1 million. I'm like,
Wow.
why do we need this? I'm part of the problem, Cass.
No. See, to answer the question,
I really am. I'm part of the
Well, no.
problem. I mean,
hear me out.
okay, yes.
And it goes back to deception. People know that the mainstream media is not telling them the truth anymore. I'm not getting political. It's got nothing to do with left or right. It's got to do with control and money. So people crave information. They want to know about each other. They want to know they're okay. They want to know if their enemies are hurting. I'm sorry,
For sure.
So podcasting is becoming the only honest media. I mean, you can't trust CNN. You can't trust any of the news outlets. Basically, ever since Bush Jr. repealed the freaking Fairness in Journalism Act, deception has been a palpable thing.
Right.
So what you do, you're not part of the problem. You give people a chance to tell their story. You don't put any ownership on that. Oh, you're crazy. It's true. Yes, no, whatever. You provide a platform where people who have something to say can stand up and say it. You are a hero. I'm not just saying that because I'm your friend.
Right. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. This is the part that I like. This is, it's not exactly teaching somebody about it. That's fun too. But I love this. This was the best one yet. I love this. I love the video. I love the fact that you called in. So it had all these elements that people like to listen to. It went a bit long. I talked too much, but I could do it for 8 hours, 6 hours, maybe 3. I don't know.
Right.
But I think that there's got to be a limit. But I just watch. If there's a way I could just watch the listeners just drop. That would be for my own benefit. But all right. So My Alien Life podcast, Cassidy Lightwing. Thank you so much. You're
Thank you,
amazing. All right. So coming up next week, next Wednesday night, I got a special guest, and I want everybody to hear this guy. I'm not going to tell you who it is right now, but probably one of my favorite authors. That he's a complete package, and there's nobody better than this guy. So next Wednesday night, and it won't be Bob Lazar, and
I would like to talk to him one of these days. I think I could help him with his research on element 113.
Cass, I have 115.
I'm bad with numbers. Everybody knows that.
So I have his phone number.
We call it Anamite, for fuck's sake.
I have his phone number. Would you like it?
Well, only if he wants to.
We should call him. We should call him right now.
That would be cool. Then that wouldn't be my fault.
You know what? I'm not that kind of guy. I mean, I would. It would be as funny as shit. Yes, people would love it, but that's all it would be. It would be less than informative, and it wouldn't be fair. And
yeah.
He's probably in bed. Right? He's probably sleeping right now.
No, if I could have my pick of anybody in the world to share a podcast with, it would be Linda Moulton Howe, hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
would have 6 shows with you before I'd have one with her.
Oh, really?
Oh,
she seems so nice.
No, I'm sure she is, but so I have this problem with people who are the self-proclaimed voice and knowledge of ufology, whatever, spiritual realm, paranormal. I mean, it's you know that we know much more. I mean, there's so much more that we don't know than we do know. So anybody that claims to be an expert in this, I mean, when was the last time Lynn Moulton Howe had a experience with visitors? When was the last time she?
Well, I can think of one that I know of.
She touched that glassy metallic surface and wiped her hand across it.
Oh, I don't know anything about
I've
that.
never done that. I'd like to do that. That'd be something.
That would be, well, come with us. Hell, maybe we'll find something down under Giza. But no, it's to me, it's one of those. It's personal. I believe I met Lynn. It might have been somebody else because it's me. but I met somebody while I was doing the cattle mutilation investigation when I was a kid, and I was freaking out being surrounded by all these freaking mutilated cows. And this lady said, "Call me Auntie Linda. Just calm down. It's going to be okay." And then years and years and years later, I hear that this lady, Linda Moulton Howe, was knee deep in these investigations, and I'm thinking, is this Auntie Linda? You gotta, for the listeners, I'm blind. I'm legally blind. If you put the original Auntie Linda in front of me right now, I couldn't tell you if it was her.
You didn't do the thing with the face on the hands, or the face hands on the face. Okay.
Yeah.
Linda,
I learned the hard way.
is that you, Linda?
No. Yeah, I grew up in the '80s music scene. You don't touch people.
That'd be a better story. Cass, how old are you? You're 42?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep.
That number just popped into my mind.
42.
That's
I was
weird.
born in 1978.
Wow.
So, well, this body anyway.
I don't have anything else. This is great. This has lasted a long time. I think we better go though.
Yeah, I'll hang up. So yeah.
Hold on.
Thank you, bro.
You just stay on the line. You got my phone. You got my phone number now.
Yes. Now I do.
I'm a little bit put off. You didn't have my phone number, and that's
it's in my phone, but my phone was doing the thing.
All right.
I had to borrow Shannon's phone. She doesn't have it.
Okay. So this is my Alien Life podcast. I'm Cameron Logan, and this guy is
Cassidy Lightling, and you're listening to My Alien Life.
And you're in Denver,
Colorado. Yeah. Denver, Colorado.
Up on the plateau.
Right next to the Children's Hospital.
All right. Good vibes for Cassidy and his family. They're very, very wonderful people. Thanks everybody for listening. And, I'm going to do more of these. You know what? I needed a big break. I'm burned out. So, catch me next week. Good night, Cassidy.
This is Whitley Strieber, and you're listening to My Alien Life.
Good night.